Welcome to this educational video from the SAM Academy. My name is Christian Marquardt from Science in Motion. In this video I will show examples of putt planes in SAM PuttLab. We will talk about swing planes, which corresponds to the motion of the sweet spot of the putter inside of a 3D plane. And we will talk about face planes, which correspond to the rotation of the putter face inside of a 3D plane. The putt planes and corresponding data are displayed in the SAM PuttLab reports. For example, in the professional report, we show graphically the planes. In red you see the face plane, the bullet and the vertical stripe is the center of the plane. In blue you see the swing plane. In gray you see the shaft plane. There is data for impact for the swing plane on angle. The tilt angle is relative to the horizontal. In this case, swing plane angle is 64 degrees. We show the radius, in this case 1.46 meter. We show the direction of the planes. For the swing plane, the direction is 1.6 degrees to the right. We show the position of the low point of the plane, which is 30.4 millimeters before impact, and we show additional data, for example, on arc or relative rotation. These planes are also shown in the 3D software. We have standard profiles for side view and front view of the planes, and we have static data for impact and dynamic plane data, and we can scroll through the planes. So side view and front view, and certainly you can look at the planes from all different angles and amplify and shift and move the planes around your screen. For dynamic data, the data is always relative to the position of the putter. For static impact data, these planes stay stable. Now let's talk about putt planes in a putting robot. In a putting robot you have static conditions and stable conditions of path and face angle. These robots also have some kind of tilt angle. On the left you see the robot from Putting Arc, and this robot has a swing plane angle measured by 77 degrees. Consequently, face plane and swing plane will also show 77 degrees. Now down to the right you see different putt planes relative to different robot tilt angles. For 80 degrees, swing plane and face plane will be also 80. For 70, they will be also very close to 70, and for 65 they will be more flat. You can also see that shaft angle varies as the connection of the putter relative to the lever of the robot is not necessarily straight, so the shaft angle can be on different angles of the plane. But irrespective of the tilt angle of the robot, you see that swing plane and face plane are always exactly the same for a robot, and shaft plane can be different. Now let's look at these putt planes for different setups. For a setup closer to the ball, where you are strongly bended over the ball and you use probably a shorter putter, these planes tend to be more steeper upright. This is an example of a zero rotation type of stroke. We see there is a straight path and no rotation, and we see that these two planes are almost perfectly upright, swing plane at 88 and face plane at 93. Still, because both planes are the same, there is no relative rotation. Now in an intermediate setup where the eye is over the ball and all the angles are matched up to what we normally want to see in a setup, we see intermediate rotation and intermediate arc, and also now these planes are intermediate at an angle of 65 and 67. Still, relative rotation is almost zero, neutral. And for a setup more away from the ball, if you play a longer putter or if you have a more upright posture, these planes tend to be more flat. You have more arc, you have more rotation, and the planes have now an angle of 56 and 58. Relative rotation still around 0, but increased absolute rotation with 5.4. However, these planes can also be different if the putter is additionally rotated around its shaft, in this case closing, which is counterclockwise, then the face plane will be more flat because there is additional rotation, and the swing plane will be more upright. Relative rotation is now very strong with 8.6 degrees. So swing plane is now 81 and face plane is only 39, and relative rotation is 8.6 closing. In the opposite case, if you open the face by turning the putter shaft clockwise, the face is opening against the path, and relative rotation is now 1.5 degrees opening. And as a consequence, swing plane is now more flat and face plane is more upright. Swing plane is more flat because there is more arc than the putter face rotates, because the face is opening relative to path. So by just looking at this one graph, you can identify very different aspects of path and face rotation absolutely against the target line and relative between path and face rotation. And this information can certainly be also used for fitting. These putt planes show in one picture the characteristics of the stroke, and this information is very valuable for the fitting process. Let's look at steep planes where there is no arc, no rotation, and then from a fitting perspective, this would match up with a bigger putter head and with lines on the putter head. If you have flat planes, this would match up more with a blade head because there is more arc, there is more rotation. Closing relative rotation, meaning that the face closes against the path, over-rotating the putter, would match up with toe-hang putters. And neutral or opening putter face relative to the path would match up with a face balance putter. So by using this information, you can very easily help your student to identify the matching putter to help him to be more successful on the course.